Hello. Okay, let's just dive right in. It's not 100 degrees in Vegas yet, but we're a couple weeks out. So I'm going to show you guys if you live in a hot climate or if you're coming to Vegas and you just want to know how to do your makeup in this extreme heat. I got you. So I start with, because I have dry skin and I have eczema, a really thick moisturizer. I use Skin Drink from Lush. I've used it for 10, 15 years at this point. It's avocado based, really thick moisturizer, and I sort of really work it into my face, almost like in a lymphatic drainage sort of way. So I always start with that layer of moisturizer. And then the next thing I do is I go in with a spot of concealer. I use NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Biscuit. And I just dot any discoloration, or when I have any blemishes, I'll do like a little tiny dot of concealer. And this comes before my foundation. Now, I'm actually out of primer, so I'm not using primer, but if I was, I would use a hydrating primer and I would use it before this step. So right after the moisturizer, before this step, that's when I would put primer. But we're skipping it today because I don't have it and going straight into the concealer. And as you can see here, I kind of brush it in some places, but mostly what I'm doing is gonna press the dot of concealer into that point in skin, and that will kind of really set the concealer there instead of moving it around. Sometimes I like to move it around because like the area itself is a little discolored, so I kind of like spread the concealer, but mostly you want to just press it into the area. And then after that, I go in with a tiny bit of orange concealer to color correct. Now, if you don't have orange concealer or you're out, I had a makeup artist do this to me when I would get my makeup done on a consistent basis. She would always use just like red lipstick under my eyes. So she said it worked better for darker, like deeper, darker tones. So if you are my complexion or darker and you don't have orange, try a little red under your eyes. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Do you see how little I did the orange? Tiny, tiny bit. And then just blend it out softly under the eyes. Now, before I put on my foundation, I do a tiny bit of concealer underneath my eyes, underneath the foundation, because I am in my 30s and I do have slightly darker under eye circles, which we love them. You know, we love all parts of ourselves. But it is an extra step I probably didn't do in my 20s that I've added in my 30s because it does need a little extra brightening under there, hence why I go in with the orange and the concealer. When I was in my 20s, I did not do that step as much, but now I do it pretty much every time I do my makeup. For foundation, which is always so very personal to every woman, I am a product of the 2016s. I'm a millennial. I'm a soft matte woman. I love a soft matte foundation. I'm not a glowy glazed donut woman. Give me a soft matte. So I love NARS, and I've had this bottle for a while, which is why I've got to like shake out every last or the last drop because I'm going to get every drop worth. I always put it on the back of my hand, and then I take a foundation brush. I've been in search of a new one, so I'm currently been testing between these three different ones to see which one I like the best to replace my old one. But I'll go in because I have, again, dry skin. I wet my brush and I wet my skin before I put on foundation. Now, I don't know if this is a makeup faux pas or if this is a good or a bad thing. I just know it works for me. For some reason, it helps my makeup apply less cakey or less like, you know, that dry scale sometimes that you have from your skin being too dry. Not sure where that comes from or why it does that. I just know that when I wet my skin and my brush before foundation, it eliminates that 9 times out of 10. So I just take a little bit of foundation. Sometimes I have two different ways I apply it. Sometimes I'll do what I'm doing here, which is I'll dip the brush in the product on my hand. But honestly, most of the time, I think I'm just doing that because I'm using a different brush. But most of the time, I will take my finger, pick up some of the product, and place dabs of the foundation on my cheek. I'll probably do 2 or 3 dabs per side, and then maybe one dab on my forehead. And then I'll just take my time to really work in the foundation and the product. Well, the foundation is the product, so does Ani. But as you can see here, I didn't speed it up, and I tried not to really cut out anything, even though it does look very repetitive, to show you how long and how much I actually go over my face to really kind of push that product in. I also tried to get close to the camera so that you guys could see that it's not perfect. You know, there's still texture. You still see the texture of my skin, and even some blemishes pop through, because that's reality. That's how my skin and my makeup actually looks when you see me in real life. So once we're done with foundation, I'll probably put on a little bit more lip gloss, and then I start in on concealer. Now, I don't know the reasoning behind this, but I have found that applying concealer, I used to use the little doe foot applicator, but I have found that applying it on the back of my hand, rubbing it on my finger to like warm it up, and then applying it directly from my finger to my face has just resulted in the most beautiful, seamless application. I don't know the reason behind it, but it works and I love it. I use NARS Radiant Creamy in Biscuit. Again, the same concealer that I use to cover my blemishes and discolorations below the foundation level is what I'm using again here to do my concealer. And I just do a little below the eyes, a little on the nose, below the nose, right below the bottom lip, and then right on like the hollows of my cheeks. And so I let it sit a while I work on my eyebrows. Now with my eyebrows, normally I would fill them in, but I just got them done. So when I just get them threaded, I don't ever fill them in, but I will go in. Again, I'm a product of 2016 beauty trends, and I'm not letting it go. Like, I just evolve it, but I'm not letting it go. I still outline my eyebrows. I know people have their thoughts with 2016 eyebrows. I'm still there. I still love it. Y'all are not going to make me get rid of my 2016 eyebrows. I love them. Sorry, not sorry. And again, with this one, I didn't speed up the video. I tried not to cut out too many clips so that you can see in real time how long it takes me and how fast I go to really blend out this concealer, because I alternate between blending it out softly and sort of pressing the product into my face. And I take my time with it because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like concealer is the part of the process in your makeup routine where you can kind of see whether this is going to be an easy, fun makeup application the rest of the way, or if we're going to start to have some problems. Because concealer is where I can kind of always see like, oh, okay, we're going to have some problems, or this is going to be good. But my philosophy with makeup is just so much of makeup is learning how to just come back from mistakes. Like, if you make a mistake, it's okay. Don't sweat it. Just wipe it off, start over again, or just go forward and try and minimize it. Okay, next we're gonna go in with some powder. And I actually don't always do this step because of the dry heat in my dry skin. Sometimes powder, I know powder is supposed to set your makeup so it doesn't move, but sometimes with the powder in this heat and with my skin, it just cakes it. And it shows up a lot worse, I find, throughout the day when I'm out in the heat. Sometimes not having the powder and sweating a little bit, I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, but I feel like sweat sometimes sets my face. Like, it makes my makeup look more lived in and a bit more natural at times. And I think sometimes the powder, even though I love a soft matte, the powder can sometimes have my skin feeling a bit or looking a bit too matte in this dry heat, and especially with my eczema. So I don't always do powder, but this day, and again, because we're not in the hundreds or the 110s yet here in Vegas, it's still a little cooler, so I felt comfortable doing powder. So in that step, I do powder below my eyes and just kind of anywhere where I put the concealer, and I just kind of press it in with like a beauty sponge. And then the next step, do this in every video, do a little bronzer to warm up my cheeks. I do it in kind of like that 3 figure where it's like the sides of your forehead down to your cheekbones, the apples of your cheeks, and then back down on the side, like your jawline. It like forms a figure 3 if you look at it that way. But I do that on both sides. And again, I didn't cut this down or speed this clip up so you can see too how long I kind of take to apply this bronzer to a point where I'm happy with it, because the bronzer that I'm currently using, it's just a cheap one from Essence, which is a brand at Ulta. It doesn't have like a huge payoff, so it does go on kind of light. So I'll build it up layer upon layer until I get to a layer that I'm happy with. It's interesting. So much of beauty is subjective and personal, right? And for my everyday look, I don't like to really sculpt or contour. This is about as much as I'll do with the bronzer. If I'm doing probably a more intense or more glamorous look, then I might do a contour. But for an everyday, I like my makeup to look simple, like a simple, soft, matte, soft glow. You know, I just want to feel glowy, but like in a soft matte way. So what I actually do is I'll wipe off, as you saw in that clip before, I wipe off like the foundation or whatever's left on my eyeshadow, and then I go in for my everyday look. I'll just go in with one eyeshadow color. So today I did this color that I have. It's like a bronzy orangey brown from MAC, and I just take a fluffy eyebrow brush and take that color all over my lid, just to give it a little bit of color, a little bit of depth, a little bit of something interesting. And I had to do this off camera because I needed to be close to the mirror, y'all. I can't I can't line my eye far away from the mirror. I have to be up close. But what I will do is, because I love my eyes, they're one of my favorite features about myself. So I like to have like a little definition to them to kind of draw attention to them. And I'll do just a line of black on, not my waterline, just at the bottom of my eyelid behind the lash, and I'll just do like a line with pencil liner and then smudge it out with a brush. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It actually, to me, looks better if it's a little bit messy. And then I'll go in with some mascara. I have been thinking about doing some false lashes lately, so maybe those will pop up soon in another video. But in the meantime, I just do mascara. Black mascara works for me. Makes my brown eyes pop. So love it. And then I'll go in with what would you call this color? Why was I going to say a Merlot? Like a sandy type of blush, like a sandy mauve-ish kind of. I don't know. That's the color or the shade that I normally use for brush. So then I'll go in with a little blush, and I'm dancing because we're at the finish line at this point. I spray setting spray like every step, to be honest. But here is what I will do when I really, really want a soft matte face and I am going to be in heat, and I know I want my makeup to stay put. And I'll do this when I'm not going for I want to sweat and I want my makeup to look a little bit lived in. I'll go in with a thin layer of setting powder all over my face. And then right after that, I'll just pop on a little bit more blush, just to kind of bring a little bit of that color back into my face. And I'll just let that sit before I do a final setting spray. And in the meantime, I tried to do something different for my lips. I think because my nails were like this sexy purple, I was like, I'm gonna do a sexy purple lip. So I was like, okay, let me try this deep lip, which I love a deep lip. But with this look, I tried it. Nah, wasn't going for it. So we had to start over. So I should have stuck with what I normally do, which is a brown lip, like a nude brown lip. Can't go wrong, especially if you're a black woman. A brown liner with like gloss just looks phenomenal on us. It's so hard. It's so hard to do something different because it looks so good. But I have probably about 4 different nude or brown lip combos that I kind of alternate between for an everyday look. This one is, I use NYX lip pencil, nude beige, all over my lip. And then right now what you're seeing is I outlined it with NYX lip pencil in brown. And I always use lip pencils. I don't like mechanical ones. The pencils are superior. Fight with someone else. I'm going to say it every time. I love a pencil lip liner. So I did the brown, and it was cute, but you know, y'all know when you do a lip and you're trying so hard not to do the one thing, which is you really want to add that brown liner to the edge of your lips. I was trying not to do that because I was like, okay, I'm going to do a softer nude today. So I added on some gloss because I was like, okay, we're going to do a soft matte, a little soft brown, soft nude. And it looked good with a lip gloss, but I was looking in the mirror. I was like, something's missing. And you can see my face. I was like, don't do it, Zani. Don't do it. Don't do it. I did it. So I added NYX lip pencil in Espresso, which is a darker brown than the NYX lip pencil in brown. And I went in and I added it to the like outer corners of my lips to make the lip even darker. Because again, a dark brown liner in lip gloss just looks, and clear gloss just looks so good on black women. Like top tier, it's hard to beat. So this is my 100-degree plus weather face. Again, final step, I go in with some setting spray and I carry the setting spray in my purse along with some powder throughout the day. And that's how I keep my makeup here in the Las Vegas heat. So thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next week. Did we do good? I think we did good. Yay! Bye, you guys.